Hello guys, in this video I want to talk about PvP in GTA Online and my main problem with it. I will specifically go over vehicle PvP in this video. I will discuss all of the issues with PvP on foot in a completely different video because that's a whole different issue. Let's talk about the first issue. You may be thinking, what the hell do I mean about noob friendly? I'm talking about vehicles any noob can get in and kill players with no problem. These vehicles are specifically the Deluxo, Oppressor Mark II, Toreador, and any vehicle of similar characteristic. These vehicles require little to no skills to use. Any 2-year-old can get in these vehicles and press a single button and kill whatever the hell they want. Back when GTA Online first started, we only had 2 vehicles with homing missiles. That was the Laser and Buzzard. And as we all know, these homing missiles were easy to dodge and were only useful for NPCs or for players that was trying to fly away from a dogfight. This made absolute sense from a skill standpoint. You had to depend on your aim with the machine guns or know how to actually fly a jet. Now let's fast forward a bit to our first vehicle that had the missiles of doom. While the Ruiner 2000 has the most overpowered missiles in the game, it still was set to be balanced. The Ruiner 2000 only came with 8 missiles and it had no armor, and for the most part it couldn't fucking fly. This basically made it vulnerable to any helicopter, jet, tank, or any vehicle with offensive capabilities, and not to mention this vehicle cost almost $6 million. Which brings me right into our sponsors, which is Aurora Resupply. We sell cash, modded accounts, and more. Make sure to use my code HUMMER for a 10% discount. But back to the topic, while the Ruiner 2000 was a fun and unique addition to Grand Theft Auto Online, it led to a much dangerous and overpowered vehicle to be added, which is exactly what you guessed. This was the first vehicle that could go in the air and shoot powerful missiles. While these missiles weren't as strong as the Ruiner 2000, it was much more powerful than the Buzzard and Laser missiles. This bike had almost obsoleted any helicopter from being used in free mode, and it even obsoleted the use of any normal vehicle in GTA Online. This bike was able to rocket boost in the air, glide in the air, and this vehicle was extremely accessible since you were able to request it right next to you through the MC menu, and you were able to do this over and over and over and over again. This was a weaponized bike that had a jet engine, and it was more accessible than any regular personal vehicle in the game. Most people hated this bike and bitched about it, and yes, I was one of them. Cockstar decided, instead of fixing this, let's add a more overpowered piece of shit, which later became known as the Deluxo. This was a flying car that basically had the most strongest missiles in the game. These missiles cannot be dodged and can only be outran. Not only were these missiles overpowered, but this fucking car flies, and let me say that again, this car flies. This car basically obsoleted the Oppressor with its overpowered missiles, and it was able to dodge the Oppressor missiles since it was very agile. While the Deluxo was incredibly powerful, it was able to be easily countered by the newly added Stromberg since it had armor and strong homing missiles. This was basically another PvP vehicle that any noob was able to get in and get easy kills. Instead of Rockstar actually balancing the Oppressor, they decided to add a more powerful counter and then add another more powerful counter to that vehicle. This is basically when Rockstar threw out the skill factor of vehicle PvP. This turned more into who has the most expensive and overpowered vehicle in the fight. Hell, there's not even much you do in PvP with these vehicles besides drive towards your target and press the bumper button to shoot missiles. There's little to no tactic, thinking and aiming with these, unlike the old days. People talked about the laser taking no skills, but dogfighting takes a hell of a lot of speed control, thinking, and tactics. I'm pretty sure if I put any basic tryhard against a skilled pilot, they'll end up getting killed 10 times in a row. Ask me how I know. But after all of this bullshit of noob-friendly PvP vehicles, you'll think Cockstar would not get any worse, but guess what? I bring to you the Oppressor Mark II, the pussy of pussy vehicles. Cockstar thought the Deluxo and Oppressor wasn't enough, so they decided to add the Oppressor Mark II in the After Hours DLC. This vehicle was basically the Deluxo and Oppressor as a combination. The only thing is the Oppressor Mark II missiles were able to be dodged, but they were extremely hard to dodge. This was basically the final straw to vehicle PvP becoming absolute dog shit. This is what really made vehicle PvP turn into a game of cat and mouse instead of a game of who had skills even before the futuristic vehicles. The Annihilator was a slower helicopter than the Buzzard and only had miniguns, but someone with decent aim was still able to beat a Buzzard pilot because the dogfighting was about who had the better aim, not about who gets lucky to shoot a missile first. My main problem with vehicle PvP is that it's not about skills anymore. It's more about the vehicle you use, which in reality turns into a paid-to-win simulator. If I had to balance vehicle PvP, I would completely get rid of the top-tier missile tracking and limit all of the futuristic vehicles to have the same 2-missile fire rate as the Buzzard attack chopper. There's no way a flying motorcycle or car should stand a chance against an attack helicopter or tank, let alone destroy them with ease. My main issue with vehicle PvP is the futuristic vehicles in general. That's including the Toreador, Scramjet, and any other of that nature. These vehicles should be fun vehicles because of their special abilities, not be deadly vehicles because they have more armor than a tank and have better missiles than a whole anti-air missile system. I know some dickhead in the comments is going to say, oh, you can beat an Oppressor Mark II easily, just get a Toreador. This is my fucking complaint, people. Getting kills in a vehicle should feel rewarding, not as simple as getting in a vehicle with a blindfold on and pressing one button and then boom, I got a kill. Fast forward to now, the Oppressor Mark II has received 2 nerfs, one being the homing missiles. The decision by Rockstar was to nerf the tracking of the missiles so they can be dodged a bit easier. Yes, it made the Oppressor Mark II more balanced, but it's still an incredibly deadly vehicle in PvP because of its size, speed, and agility. The second nerf was giving it a 4-minute cooldown timer of being requested. Before that, the Oppressor Mark II was able to be spawned instantly right at your foot without any cooldown timer. All in all, this made the Oppressor Mark II less annoying. Yes, it's still a fucking annoying vehicle, but at least it became somewhat less annoying. I want to know your opinion on vehicle PvP in GTA Online. Do you like it the way it is, or what would you change about it? Personally, I would get rid of all of the weapons on futuristic vehicles, but if I couldn't do that, I would give them all the same missiles from the Jetpack or Buzzard. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave this a like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out my sponsors, Aurora Resupply, if you need some cash, and use my coupon code HUMMER for a 10% discount. I'm out, guys. Peace.